been 2 months since I've ridden. I don't know, like I'm back and forth. It's a lot better than I remember. I feel a lot faster on the new 25 bike. That doesn't always translate to paper, so. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I put out a video because I've been traveling so much for the Thrashin vlogs. I figured it would be better if I put out more quality content over quantity. Please excuse my absence, but today we are headed out to the track. We're gonna go to LACR where we did the shakedown video on the 94 CR250. I want to compare these two bikes. So this is the previous generation Honda 450 and obviously the new 2025 Honda 450. This is Honda's bike. They lent it to me, so I figured while it's still in my possession, we would go compare the two. I'm really interested to see how these things stack up against each other. I'm gonna go ride this bike, get a feel for it, give you guys some feedback, kind of what sticks out to me, and then we'll hop on this bike, compare the two, and then I'd like to do a lap time challenge between the two. So this bike, I think it's a 22, but it's pretty much the same thing as a 24. It is completely stock. Other than the graphics, the only modification done to this bike is the Yoshimura exhaust, which we installed on the channel a couple months ago. Other than that, completely stock. Even though it has stickers, stock suspension, I don't even think I've set sag on this bike. So stock gearing. This bike does have quite a bit more bottom end right out of the box. So I'm not too worried about the exhaust because that adds a little bottom, adds a little power. But all in all, I think the two bikes are pretty comparable as far as power goes. I think this bike right out of the box actually might be quite a bit faster, like a lot more bottom end, a lot more hard hitting, but the chassis, from what I remember, does kind of handle the power a little better. So I'm excited to see these stack up against each other, and then we'll grab some lap times at the end of the day, see how they stack up, how they compare. But I'm gonna go ahead and load up and we'll see you guys out at the track. So we just got out here to LACR. Both bikes are unloaded, all prepped. Same tire pressure in both bikes. So it's comparable as it can be from a setup standpoint. Again, this bike has the Yoshimura exhaust, but other than that, completely bone stock. So excited to see how these things stack up. I'm gonna go throw the chesty for the GoPro on me, and then I got my brother out here shooting video. So we'll go warm up, I think, on the older bike, get some laps on that, kind of check in with you guys about thoughts and feelings of how that setup feels. It's been 2 months since I've ridden, so it'd be good to kind of brush off the cobwebs on this bike. Then we'll hop on the 25, see how that bike feels, get some notes on that, and then we'll see how these things stack up against each other from a lap time standpoint as well. It's kind of a busy day. It's a Sunday out here at LACR. Hopefully lap traffic doesn't get in the way of our lap times. We'll give them both an honest effort in comparing the two. So I'm gonna go gear up, throw this on my chest, and then we'll go get some laps in. Off the track on the last generation Honda. It's really good. It's a lot better than I remember. Having like come off the hype of the 25, kind of like, I don't know, experiencing how much better it was. I was kind of expecting to go back onto the older generation and kind of like struggle with it, but it's still a great bike. Still amazing, handles great. This, from what I remember, does handle better, but some key things that stuck out to me. One, the power is definitely down on this bike. Like, usually when I get a stock bike, I like to put one tooth up on the rear. The same is true with this bike, the older generation. The newer bike, from what I remember, and I'm gonna go out there and try it again, but from what I remember, the gearing was spot on. Like, I didn't feel like I needed more bottom end or anything like that. The other thing is the twitchiness in the front end. I know that's a big issue. And one of the big questions behind this bike, or the new bike, when I test rode it, you guys want to know how the front end twitchiness was. This is definitely a lot more twitchy, like mostly in like weird high speed. Like it's really inconsistent, which is hard to judge when you need to compensate for it. I think that's the frustrating thing, is the lack of consistency in the front of this bike. The rear squat is another thing. So suspension and gearing are a little off on this bike, but we're gonna go gear up again, hit the 25 on the track, and I'll check back with you guys, make sure the comments that I got on the last video are still true on the new 25 bike. So we just got off the track on the 25. To kind of reiterate what I said before, the front end and the rear end feel and the suspension feels night and day better. Like I feel so much more predictable, so much more like plush, like predictable, consistent. Consistent's the word I'm looking for. Like that is one of the key things that I love about the new bike. Also, the power delivery is way better. I'm the kind of guy that really likes to take a turn in third gear if I can. On the last generation, I do not feel like I could ever do that, at least with the stock rear sprocket. With this new bike, there's quite a few turns that I'm actually taking in third gear. I just like the way it lugs. I like the way the suspension is a little bit more free and happy. The way that the throttle feels connected to the rear wheel always feels a little more happy in third gear to me. So that's one thing I really like about it. But now we're gonna go see how they stack up against each other. I feel a lot faster on the new 25 bike. That doesn't always translate to paper. So I'm gonna go hop on the older generation bike, see what we can do for a lap time. Hopefully get a clear lap. This is also the first time I've ever ridden this track with power. Like last time I was here on the 250, I had no power, so it's nice to actually clear some of the jumps. But I'm gonna try to give myself a gap and try to get a clean lap in on both these bikes, see what the lap times are. What was the time?
1:43.08.
All right, going right there. right, so I actually had a pretty clear track. The one thing that I would like to point out is I actually think I like the rear end feel on the new bike more than the old one. That's like going back and forth between the two. Like initially I was like, man, the rear feels a lot more like stable and it tracks better. So maybe it's just because it's a slick track, you can't get that feeling for the front end as much. I don't know, like I'm back and forth. The front and rear of the new bike feel like way better. So I'm stoked on that. I did get a clear lap that time, so hopefully we can do the same on the 25 bike. Let's go see what kind of lap time we can lay down on that bike. I did botch the last turn on the new bike, but to me it felt faster. Chance was walking over here and out the time, so let's see what it actually ended up. Sorry for this view, by the way. I switched the camera to super view when I go put the chesty on.
So it's like a 141.9 because I had to double tap.
All right, so last time was a 143.08. I don't know if that's gonna focus. New time,
I would say it's like a
142.9. Chance messed up the stopwatch though, so he says it's probably a second, half second to a second faster than that. So honestly pretty comparable, but the lap time felt like way easier on the new bike. Like I wasn't trying as hard and it didn't feel as sketchy. So I think the new bike gets the crown on that one. All right, new bike was better for sure. The reason I wanted to make this video was because I know there's a lot of people just like me out there that want to know, is it worth it to get the new 25-450, especially if you have the past generation? If you're coming from a different manufacturer, then that's a different story, but comparatively, it's way better. Like the geometry in the rear, the front end stability, a little extra power down low, in my opinion, makes the bike definitely worth upgrading to this new platform, this new generation Honda. The lap time, I kind of just want to do that for fun, just to kind of see where we're at. Obviously, anybody who's ever taken a lap time on an iPhone before knows it's kind of difficult to hit it on the same exact spot. Can't struggle with that, and not only that, but I kind of mentioned it earlier, I definitely botched the last turn right before the finish line that we were timing on, so I think that combined with the Chance messing up the stopwatch, I think that's probably about a second, because in my opinion the mistake I made in the last turn alone was probably about a quarter second to half second. So, but again, I knew it was going to be pretty close. The ease of riding on the new bike was a lot better. If we're talking consistency, going to hit those lap times lap after lap, the new bike's definitely going to be easier on that. If I'm in a moto, that's gonna pay off tenfold. So anyways, headed back to the shop now. Do have some bike maintenance to do, so day's not over. I figured I'd take you guys along with me because I got some product delivered to the shop that will make the job a little easier. If you're like me, I absolutely hate doing bike maintenance, getting the bike ready for the next ride. I like to get it done right away so I'm not stressing out about it, you know, days before I have to go ride. Go get these things cleaned up and ready for the next time that we take them out. All right, so the kind people over at MukOff sent me a little care package. If anybody knows me, they know how much I love this stuff. Sent me a little gift bag with microfiber scrubber. Actually, I'm gonna use that right now. And some bottles of cleaner. So I've got some gloves and some of their new all-weather chain lube. A couple other things in there too. Stoked about this. I actually buy this stuff by the 5 gallons because I go through it so much. Got my bottle right there that I usually use. Yeah, stoked. This stuff is like, I always rinse the bike off and then I let this stuff soak on it for like 5-10 minutes and everything comes off, like chain grease, everything. So I'll use it on my motorcycles, my mountain bikes, anything that gets dirty. I love using this stuff. Thank you guys over at MukOff. This isn't a paid advertisement. They just thought I was using the stuff and sent me a little care package. Got the bikes all set up, ready to walk, test out the new stuff we just got. All right, I got the bikes all washed off and soaked up a little bit. I'm gonna try out this brush. Usually I think you're supposed to use this on the frames. Maybe there's instructions I missed. But gotta keep this bike nice and clean for the boys over at Honda. I'm gonna give it back. I don't want to give it back though. I like to let this motorcycle cleaner sit on there for like 5-10 minutes, kind of eat away at some of the dirt. In the meantime, try this chain cleaner and this chain brush they sent. All right, guys, we got the bikes all cleaned up, all looking brand new again, thanks to the guys over at MukOff. But this is it. This is where we're gonna end it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry for the absence. I am doing this on my own dime, so it does get a little tricky sometimes balancing filming with work and family time and everything in between. So for those of you that tune in, give the video a thumbs up and give it a love. Thank you very much, and we will see you in the next one and hopefully be back to weekly uploads. See you next time.